Got it.
Well, good afternoon. Mike, Franch, Linnea Anderson, this is David Carl Olson. I'm so glad to be with you for a second. We're thinking about Monday's Memorial Day service, which we've done for about a decade, I think. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about the service?
Certainly. We started this in our congregation because we realized that Memorial Day had become drained of meaning. It was just either the beginning of the summer, or if there was military ceremonies, it's sometimes the same. Oh, what a great thing it was that these people made a sacrifice. And people weren't really thinking about what it really meant. And we thought that it was an important thing for us to do as a religious duty, as a civic duty, to really try to get meaning out of Memorial Day.
Thank you. So tell me what happens during the service.
Well, what happens is we share poetry, we share readings. In previous years, we've read the names of Marylanders who were killed in Afghanistan and Iraq. We're not going to do that this year, but we are going to think deeply about the meaning of the holiday. We're going to, I think, express two things. One is gratitude, and the other is to try to recapture some feeling of hurt that in so many families have when they think about Memorial Day. You know, this business of going to a cemetery and putting a flag on a grave, that's, to some families, that represents a real loss. And for those of us who don't share that loss, we still have to find a way to kind of share it because we share our citizenry, our citizenship with these people.
Linnea, how does this all ring with you?
Well, I would just say that as a person who the Vietnam War was the defining war of my generation, and to tag into what Mike said, when those soldiers came back from that war, there was nobody who wanted to share in their experience. And I think maybe that even continues to today. I've always been steadfastly anti-war, beginning from my earliest time, Vietnam. But I also feel that the people the young people who fight in these wars need the recognition, need to be remembered, and their losses and their families' losses need to be marked. They need to be marked as they are every day in the lives of the families and friends who've lost them. And they need to be marked by us, because that is what we have asked them to do. They did it, although I think we'd all prefer that there not be any other wars ever again. It seems as though they continue, and we have to honor those who've suffered great loss. And I really appreciate this service at the First Unitarian Church, because there aren't very many like it in our area.
Well, you mentioned when we were talking earlier that there were names that were real to you because of associations through the American Red Cross.
Right. My career with the American Red Cross included service to military families. And so whenever, soldiers were lost in the Afghanistan war, in the Iraq war, we would reach out, the Red Cross would reach out to those families and help them with the funeral, with their funeral arrangements, and provide what comfort we could at the Red Cross. I'm particularly thinking of Takara Green, who I'm still in touch with her family, who was the first Maryland woman to die in an IED explosion as a very young woman in Iraq, a young Baltimore woman. And I mourn her death, and I mourn the deaths of all of those people who gave up. We've read their names every year and remembered them, and continue to do so.
Sure. Well, this notion that maybe it should hurt a little bit My understanding is that the service will have between the music, the poetry, and maybe just some breathing space, as well as a message by you, Mike, will actually give us a place to have some real feelings, maybe even a little hurt, and maybe even a little pondering about the human spirit and what it is we're called to do and be in the light of the sacrifices, as it were, that may have been made in previous and even current generations. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We're saying Monday at 11. This will be a Zoom service, is my recollection, at the church Zoom address. We hope that as many people for whom this will bear some meaning will be present with us as we mark Memorial Day. Thank you very much.